Boom, we are live. Continuing on with the confidence series. Today we are focusing on frame and why it is important to have pride and honor in your bloodline, your legacy, your last name, your family. Why it is important to always honor your ancestors, and how it is helpful to establish a stronger vision of where you want to go with your future, with the next generation that is to come. Your boy is wrapping up his final days in Ecuador. Been here for the last 7-8 months. Really enjoyed my time in South America, but now it is time to check out Central America, starting to make my way back home. So I am flying out of here in the next couple of days, just packing, wrapping up. That's probably the thing I hate the most about traveling is the packing part, but should be wrapped up soon. So, gentlemen, today, bloodline, legacy, family, why it is important. A lot of guys do not see the pride in their family. They don't see the pride of carrying their last name, the importance of ensuring that their bloodline is passed successfully, but also in a strong position, right? You're making the strongest bloodline that you possibly can. This is something that I noticed a lot in the States, in the US. A lot of people don't take pride in their last name. They don't really take pride in their family as much as they do in Latin cultures, or more. I think it's more of a Mexican thing. In Mexico, you really see this. We really take pride in our last name. We really take pride in our family. And there's a huge reason for that. We're going to really break that down in this video. And the reason why I wanted to make this video, this is more of a frame type video, more of a mindset type video. But I think that it is very powerful because when you instill this mindset, you have more honor of where you come from and also of what you stand for. A lot of people don't have this type of honor, pride in their name. And you can see it through their actions. They don't really care too much. They're indifferent. They're aloof. And I would argue that makes for a weak mindset. I would argue that if you don't have anything to honor, if you don't have anything to stand for, you'll fall for anything. So we're really going to break this down. Let's go ahead and pull up the whiteboard. So, like I mentioned, we are continuing on with the confidence series. In this series of videos, we've been focusing on maximizing powerful iron confidence. That is the main mission of this series. So we're currently on legacy, pride, and bloodline. But we've already made like 20 videos in this series. They're all in the channel. If you go to my main channel, go to the live section, you'll find all of these videos. I would also recommend, if you watch these videos on playback, change the speed to 2x2 just so you can get through it. Because even for me, when I watch some of my favorite content creators, like sometimes I can't watch it at normal speed. I have to go through two times. It makes it faster, more efficient, and I just enjoy consuming the content faster. So I would also recommend to do that when you're watching the playback on these videos. But in this series of videos, like I mentioned, we're focusing on maximizing iron confidence. And here in Legacy and Bloodline, we're going to break down the purpose of using legacy to motivate you, to fuel your goals. So blood, family, and pride. So the power of legacy. So it gives you purpose and motivation, right? When you have honor in your last name, in your blood, you have a powerful sense of purpose. It motivates you to work harder, to stay focused, and to make better decisions. You want to establish a prosperous future for your bloodline, for your kids, for your grandkids, for everyone who's coming and taking on your last name. So that's why it's very important. I think when you really start to think about it, your last name is going to live on forever based on the actions that you are doing right now in the present moment. Responsibility, your actions contribute to something greater than yourself. It should boost your self-worth. You're doing this for your family. You see this a lot also like in the mafia, bro. Like if you watch the Godfather films, the Corleone family, all the 5 families in New York, the pride that they have in their family name, right? The Corleone family, and how there's that scene from Michael where he tells Fredo, his brother, he's like, Fredo, you're my older brother, but don't you ever go against the family name again. And that's just like the power that comes from family. That's the power that comes from your blood. You can't get that from anywhere else. And you should take a lot of honor in that, because it's your last name. This is what you stand for. And then finally, long-term vision and strategic thinking. So when you consider the long-term impact of your decisions, you start to think clear. You have a better vision of where you want to take your bloodline, your family. And it allows you to make those choices. You build that solid foundation for future generations to come. So that is one of the main components to ensuring that you have powerful honor in your last name. So we all know that Scrub, bro. He has no purpose. He has weak family legacy. He doesn't get along with his family. He has no respect within his family, no honor. No one really cares about his family name. He doesn't lift it up high. And it shows through his actions. Like, no one really respects his family because he's not putting any effort into elevating his family name himself. And I would say that I've been this Scrub, man, but that's not the case, man. In my position in my life, I've always held my family name to a high degree. And I think a big reason for that is because my dad always he was always proud of our family. He was always proud of our last name. He was always encouraging us to do our best for our family. He would always say, like, hey man, like, Medina doesn't act like that, right? You're a Medina, you need to grab your nutsack and go harder. This shouldn't break you. This should only make you stronger. So he would always use it as a source of motivation. So I never felt like this, but I do know there's a lot of Scrubs out there that don't see the power of their last name. They don't really care too much about their last name. And like I said, I see this a lot in the U.S., man. I don't know if it's what it is. I think the U.S. has gotten into like this it's like they don't put too much emphasis anymore into family values as much. And being that I come from a Latin culture, right? Like, my parents are Mexican. It's always been very important. Like, family has always been very important. Family has been number one. Making sure that family's good. You're taking care of your brothers, your sisters, cousins. That's always been a top priority. That's not to say that there's some family members that they're lazy. They don't put that effort in, because I think every family has that. But for the most part, it's like you still take honor and pride into your last name, right? You want to ensure that you are taking care of your family. And when I would go to Mexico, I would see this a lot more compared to the States. I think the States is losing that. They don't really honor family values as much as they used to, because I think it's a recent thing. You've been seeing this a lot more in the last decade. So a couple of power terms that we need to break down are legacy. So legacy is just the long-lasting impact of particular events, actions, etc., that took place in the past over a person's life. So legacy would be like where your family comes from, right? If you're American, they might come from Northern Europe, England, Germany, France. If you're Mexican, like I am, my family lineage comes from Spain. A lot comes from Portugal as well, Southern Europe. And we'll get into that. We'll get into the big mixture that occurred in Mexico, the differences between Mexico, a lot of Latin American countries, and the US. But this is what legacy essentially is. Family is a group of persons united by ties of marriage, blood, or adoption, constituting a single household and interacting with each other in their respective social positions, usually those of spouses, parents, children, and siblings. So family is your close family, right? Your brothers, sisters, your parents, cousins, second family, right? And one thing I want to highlight here is that in Mexico, it was very important, like where you come from, your family. It was important to, when you got married, you would take on the first last name of your dad, and then you would also take on the last name of your mom, because in a way you were uniting two families together. And now you had two families that could work together. You had your mom's branch and then your dad's branch. So this was big. You saw this big in Spain. You saw this big in European cultures, like William, son of, son of John. You would see like these family names, these different family names coming together, and usually that would happen through marriage. When they would marry, they would combine their families, and they would make a stronger relationship. That's why royal families will try to marry with other royal families to increase their power, their influence. Then we have bloodline. So bloodline is a person's children or other lineal descendants, such as grandchildren and great-grandchildren. It does not mean all heirs, but only the direct bloodline. So this would be your direct bloodline. If you have kids, they are part of your bloodline. So this is your branch, right, of heirs. And heirs, just that part, right? A person inheriting and continuing the legacy of a predecessor. So your kids are considered your heirs. They are going to inherit anything that you do. They're going to inherit your wealth. If you decide to pass it on to them, they're going to inherit they're going to take on your character. Just by osmosis, they're going to take on your character moving forward. Dynasty. So a dynasty is a series of leaders in the same family, like the British royal family, or a local business dynasty in which 4 generations have made their fortune at certain business or venture, right? So a dynasty is like a series of leaders. You have like 4 generations and you build a powerful dynasty. You saw this a lot in China. You saw this a lot in Europe with like the Spanish, the French, the British. They would build very powerful dynasties, and they would just keep that dynasty going strong for multiple generations. So that is one of the main goals, that you want to establish a strong dynasty for your last name. And if you don't have that, I think most people don't have like a strong dynasty. You should be the first one. You should strive to be the first one to establish that strong dynasty and that strong legacy. It should start with you at least. You can put in the effort to build that strong dynasty. So there's a great video here from Conor McGregor that I like, where he really highlights the power of purpose, why it's important to honor your ancestors. Just go ahead and pull it up so we can check it out.
Your lack of commitment is almost an insult to the people who believe in you, and that's what I'm trying to tell myself. I said, there's people that believe in me, and me having this past commitment. It's not what the fuck I am. It's not what my people. It's not what the people who believe in me deserve. And I want to give back to the people who believe in me and give them that belief, and prove that belief correct. So
he said that your lack of commitment is an insult to the people that believe in you. So if you really think about like your parents, and they're putting in so much effort, like one thing I hate to see is when I see immigrant kids, Mexican American immigrant kids, that they are not putting in the effort that they know that they can put in to their goals, whether it's in school, whether it's in like their dreams, whatever they want to accomplish, they're not putting in that effort. And knowing damn well that their parents struggled so much to reach the US, busted their ass, some even crossed the border illegally, and they're not putting in that effort. I hate seeing that because it's a waste of talent, it's a waste of effort, and like all the sacrifice that their parents did, their bloodline, to get to that position just so they could squander it. It's a shame, but it's the truth, and that's exactly what Conor McGregor's highlighting here.
That's it. It's all over. History has been made.
All right, so this is just like pretty badass highlights of McGregor whooping ass, but yeah, so that is the importance, right? You don't want to let your family down. You don't want to let your legacy, your bloodline, your ancestors down. And when you do not commit, when you don't put in the best effort, that's exactly what you're doing. So one of the best ways to think about it, man, I love Dragon Ball Z. I grew up watching Dragon Ball Z, and this is one of my favorite shows. And the best way that you can really apply this is how Vegeta looks into the Saiyan race, how he looks into his own race, and why it's important to have pride and honor. Like Vegeta's probably one of the most prideful characters in anime. And it makes sense, right? Because he came from like a lineage of powerful warriors. His his planet, I think it was King Vegeta's planet. Yeah, it was the planet, I think, was called Vegeta, but in his planet, it was a warrior race, and he was always proud of that warrior race. Frieza almost wiped them all out, but he still maintained that pride and honor. And you see it when he talks about the Saiyans, when he talks about his race. So let me play this clip here where he introduces Trunks, his son, for the first time.
You should see the look on your face right now. How would you feel if I told you there's another like me? Huh? Allow me to introduce you to my son. His name is Trunks. He too is a true Super Saiyan. He's not quite as strong as I am, but it would be hard to tell the difference between us. He has incredible power.
So look at how like Vegeta talks about his son, man. He talks about him like he's the best thing that he ever created. He talks about him with so much honor, so much pride. And that's exactly the same sentiment that you should have with your bloodline. What's coming next? This is the power of this mindset, because one, it allows you to really maximize yourself, put in your best foot forward, do the best that you possibly can, but you know that you're going to make something even stronger than you at one point. And having pride in your creation, right? Your kids and your heirs and what's coming next.
No, how can this be?
And then you can see here Cell shitting bricks because he knows he knows how strong these guys are.
Do you understand how fruitless this is? I've been allowing you to deceive yourself, that's all. You never had a chance to win. If by some miracle you managed to get by me, Trunks would have finished you off. Face it, Cell, you took a guess.
Yeah, man. So Vegeta's a badass. He sees the power in Trunks. He has honor and pride in his race and his last name and the Saiyan race. And he's a perfect example of why this is important. So let me go ahead and pull up let's go back to the whiteboard here. So yeah, Joe, Bloodline is powerful. So there's a great quote that I like here that says that ensuring the success and continuation of your bloodline is a profound source of purpose and pride that drives personal excellence. I love this quote because it's dead on. It really highlights why it's important, right? Your purpose, your pride, and it pushes you for excellence. It pushes you forward. So every family has a coat of arms. Just about every family has it. If you don't have one, I'd be surprised, because just about every family can find it. If you look up your last name, but last name, coat of arms, you'll find it. And a lot of them have something, with like swords. They have an armor. They have an animal. And mine, in particular, has a lion last name. My last name comes from Spain. It comes from the Arabic city of Medina. So there was a time that the Muslim Moors conquered the Iberian Peninsula, and it's probable that during that time, a lot of the words that came from Saudi Arabia, from the Muslim Empire, just made it to Spain. My last name stayed there, and this is my family coat of arms. So if you look it up, you'll find it. These are my parents. So my dad passed on this last name to me. My mom has a different last name, but I also have her last name. So love my parents, bro. My dad was a fucking badass, straight G. My mom is a sweetheart, and I love them both to death. But I'm extremely prideful in the blood, the legacy, the honor that they left to me, right? For me to pass on to the next generation. I have my dad's first name. My middle name is my dad's first name. So I'll most likely be passing that on to my kids as well. I'll probably name one of my daughters after my mom as well. but I am passing on their legacy through my kids, through my heirs. And the reason for that is because I have a lot of honor and pride in where I come from, and I want to keep pushing that forward to the next generations to come. These are the picture of me and my cousins and my brother, me and my cousin Ignacio and my brother Lupe in Mexico. Boys got the sombreros, so we're having a family party here. But I love my cousins. I love my family, and they have their own kids. They're gonna have their heirs with Medina. They're gonna have their own branch. But at the end of the day, when we get together, bro, it's a huge party, a huge, it's a huge fiesta, and it's all my family. It's all Medina's there, hanging out, having a good time, and we always work together. We try to look for the best solutions for our family, and that's the importance of having that cohesion of family. So a couple enemies to look out for is like the poor advice that you get from Doom, like this pessimistic advice that it's not important to have family, that you don't need to have kids anymore. I think that's BS, really. This radical thing where it is not encouraged to have kids anymore. I think that's stupid. Like, that's probably the most important reason why we're here, to replicate, to pass on our genes, to pass on our bloodline. So watch out for that kind of like mindset. I don't think that's correct. I think you, as a man, the most important thing, the most powerful thing that you can do is you can pass on a strong bloodline. So a couple things that we can do a couple action items. I recommend to take a quick screenshot of this. But the first thing is to build generational wealth, invest in assets like real estate, stocks, or businesses that can be passed on to your children and future generations, ensuring financial stability and growth for your bloodline. So just take care of your money, man. Make sure that you're making good financial decisions. Take it seriously. Start investing into assets. Second thing is prioritize education. So instilling a strong emphasis on education and self-improvement in your family, ensuring that the future generations are well equipped to succeed. So self-improvement, everything that we talk about on this channel, everything that we always highlight: money, muscles, game, frame, making sure that you're hitting the gym, making sure that you're getting your money right, make sure that you're always elevating yourself and building. Create a family legacy plan. Develop a written plan outlining your family's values, goals, and traditions, which can guide future generations in continuing the legacy that you've built. This is something that I need to do, but I do have a good idea of like our family values, right? Our goals and traditions. One of our biggest traditions is like our family loves to play baseball. I'm trying to bring in forward like fighting, boxing, and that's something that's going to come from my branch, because that's something that I enjoy to do. But just start thinking about like what are the best values, goals, and traditions to lead your future generations forward, and instilling those strong values. So teach your children important values like discipline, integrity, showing them those values, showing it through the way that you live. That's important. Ensure good health and fitness. Encourage healthy lifestyles with your family, promoting physical fitness, mental well-being, and good dietary habits to ensure longevity and vitality in your bloodline. You want to have a strong, healthy bloodline. Build strong relationships, so foster close, supportive family relationship. Pass on the importance of love, loyalty, and collaboration among family members. That's what I mentioned here with my cousins and my brother. Like, we try to do that with our kid. With like, they already have kids. I don't have kids yet, but with my nephews, I know when I have kids, I want to make sure that everyone is, we're supportive, when we're just a stronger unit together. Mentor your children, right? Take an active role in guiding your children in their personal, professional, and emotional development, preparing them to lead successful lives. This can also apply for your nephews. Like I try to do that with my nephews. I try to be a source of inspiration, but mentorship as well. Leading through example, not just talking. Create and preserve family traditions. So establish meaningful family traditions that can be passed through generations, creating a sense of unity and identity and continuity. And document your family history, right? So preserve your family history through written records, photographs, or storytelling, so future generations understand where they come from and appreciate their roots. So I can really go into like my family, how it comes from, the mixture that happened in Spain and in Mexico and everything. But that's not the premise of this video. But there's a lot of history that comes with my last name. You should also understand like your last name, your family history, document it. put photographs. Like I'm gonna have photographs of my parents all over my house, my dad, my mom, just so my kids know where we come from and they can have honor and pride in where our bloodline comes from. And then lead by example, right? So be the role model of success, of strength and integrity in your family. This is probably the most important thing, especially when it comes to self-improvement, is that you lead by example. You're that person. You're congruent with what you preach. And that is the main goal. The actions you take and the person that you become will set the standard for your descendants to follow. So that's what I try to do, especially like since I make so much content, I try to like show it off. And I hope one day that the day that I'm not here anymore and I pass away, that my future generation can always see these videos and they can see the man that I was through my actions, not just by what they heard. They got it from the horse's mouth, right? Like this is who their grandfather, their great grandfather was. So tying this all back to confidence, when you have this deep sense of legacy, of tradition, of pride in your family name, it makes you work harder. It just builds your motivation, your purpose. You want to do the best that you possibly can for your future bloodline, right? You want to ensure that you have a prosperous future for your bloodline. And this is extremely powerful. A lot of people do not see the importance of their bloodline and they act accordingly. They don't see the big picture. They don't see the power of having that honor and pride. So when you start to apply this, you just move different, man. You're doing it for a bigger purpose, and it allows you to really execute in a powerful way. So there you have it, gentlemen. This is the power of blood, family, pride, and legacy. If you made it this far into the video, make sure to give us a like, smash that subscribe button. Your boy's about to wrap up his final days here. Just got to finish packing, going to fly out soon. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts, comments, drop them all down in the description below. I'll catch you all in the next video. Stay strong, keep a powerful bloodline, powerful legacy, and keep on conquering. You got this. Peace.